So if you're a Red Wings fan like me, obviously it was a pretty rough opening week as we finished the week with a record of 0-2-2, so obviously it's better than 0-4. We did get 2 out of a possible 8 points, but it certainly wasn't the ideal start. So like I said earlier, Detroit was in action 4 times this week, and this is something I'm going to be uploading every Friday, a weekly recap of the Detroit Red Wings. It's something I really wanted to do. I know a lot of you guys probably won't be too interested in this, but hopefully some of you guys will. Opening night, October 4th, Little Caesars Arena against the Columbus Blue Jackets, a 3-2 overtime loss. And this was a tough one because Columbus started Jonas Korpisalo and Jimmy Howard made 39 saves. We got heavily outplayed, but Howard gave us a chance to win this game. I'm very happy we did come out of it with a point. Cam Atkinson opened the scoring for the Columbus Blue Jackets, and then Dennis Cholowski opened the scoring in the second period for his first NHL goal. Very happy. I think he's been playing fantastic. Obviously, he didn't play yesterday against the Toronto Maple Leafs due to injury, but hopefully he won't be out too long. Then Josh Anderson scored for the Blue Jackets to make it 2-1, and then Tyler Bertuzzi on the power play from Larkin and Nyquist to make it 2-2, and then in overtime, Artemi Panarin finishing off, and Artemi Panarin was basically skating circles around the Detroit Red Wings defense in our zone, and if you let him do that, he is going to score. So opening night, a 3-2 overtime loss, not ideal. We did come out of it with a point, but all in all, it wasn't too bad. Then Detroit would go for a quick little California road trip against the LA Kings and the Anaheim Ducks. And honestly, I think Detroit could have won both of these games, but obviously they did end up losing both. Against the LA Kings, if Jimmy Howard was playing, I do think we would have won the game. Jonathan Bernier, in my opinion, played awful. A lot of goals, a lot of mistakes on his part, but obviously it was his first time as a Red Wing. I'm not going to be too hard on him. I'm just kind of upset. I wish Howard would have played because he did play really good against Columbus, and if he would have played this game, I do think we would have got the win. We outplayed them. Detroit's goals were scored by Mantha and Larkin, so those are always guys you like to see on the scoreboard, but obviously a 4-2 loss. 1 goal, I believe it was an empty netter by Iafallo, so Detroit falls 4-2. Then the next night they would go to Anaheim in a game, once again, I think they could have won. I was unhappy with how Jeff Blashill handled the overtime and shootout, but I'm not the coach, he is, and once again, Jimmy Howard looked exceptional in this game, and that's something I'm really been impressed with throughout opening week because he's going to have to keep us in games. If we don't have a chance to win any games, we're going to have to get great goaltending, and Jimmy Howard has given us really a chance to win every single one of the games in opening week, and that's all you can ask for. And then rounding out week 1 last night against the Toronto Maple Leafs, a 5-3 loss. One of those goals were an empty netter, so Jimmy Howard allowed 4 goals, and once again he played solid, gave the Detroit Red Wings a chance to win, but obviously you cannot take penalties against this Toronto Maple Leafs team or they're going to make you pay. Austin Matthews with 2 goals again, Morgan Rielly with a goal, Mitch Marner with a goal. This team is just unbelievable. Detroit's goals, 2 for Nick Jensen, so that's nice to see. He's not really known for his goal scoring, and then Dylan Larkin scored, so nice to see Larkin on the scoreboard again. I do wish some calls would have went Detroit's way, and I think this could have been a different game. I was unhappy with one call that DeKaiser got called for, and then Matthews scored, I believe, 9 seconds into the power play to give them a 2-goal lead again, which really kind of took the wind out of the sails, but I wasn't really expecting us to beat Toronto as they are a juggernaut this season. All in all, a really tough opening week to watch, but I am glad that these games were exciting, and Detroit didn't really get blown out in any of those games, and they had a chance to win in every single one of them. And for me, watching this team in rebuilding mode, that's all I can really ask for. And obviously I do want to see them win games, but you know, that #1 draft pick would not be too bad for us. Now taking a look at the stat leaders for the Red Wings through week 1, goals is led by Dylan Larkin, actually tied with Bertuzzi and Jensen, all of which having 2 goals, and then Dennis Cholowski also has a goal, and there's a number of players with 1 goal, but I put Dennis Cholowski up there just because I think he's had a really solid week. Like I said, he is injured. Hopefully he gets back, but it's nice to see him with a couple of points under his belt. Assists, Gustav Nyquist leading the way. He's alone at #1 with 3 assists. I think he did look really good playing on a line with Larkin and Mantha. I'm kind of upset that they split that lineup, but hopefully they can revert back to that for tomorrow afternoon's game in Boston. And then Dylan Larkin with 2 assists, so he has 2 goals and 2 assists, so a very solid season, or a solid start to the season for Larkin, really continuing on the hot end of last year that he had. And then Dennis Cholowski also with 2 assists. assists, and then there's 10 players with 1 assist. So total points, Dylan Larkin leads the way with 4 points, and then Bertuzzi, Cholowski, and Gustav Nyquist all have 3 points as well. I believe Anthony Mantha has 3 points too, or he might only have 2, I'm not quite sure. But obviously, Dylan Larkin is expected to be a leader on this team. I've been very impressed with Tyler Bertuzzi as well. He really reminds me of kind of a more skilled version of a Zach Hyman, a gritty player who can play in your top 6, play with talented guys. And one of Bertuzzi's goals, I believe it was against the LA Kings, was actually really nice. I believe Rasmussen got his first NHL assist on that goal. And that's going to be something I'm going to touch on at the end of the video. Do I think Rasmussen will get sent down to juniors? And I think the Detroit Red Wings can do that for one more season, and then his entry-level contract will get extended by another year. And then next year, I think he'll get a full-time NHL job, because he hasn't really stood out to me just yet. But then again, he hasn't looked all that bad. But when a guy like Evgeny Svechnikov and Martin Furk come back for injury, who is going to be the odd man out? And I definitely think it could be the rookie Michael Rasmussen. Now, rounding out the stats for week 1, we have the goaltenders. Jimmy Howard finished with a record of 0-1-2 with a .910 save percentage and a 2.90 goals against average. And like I said, Jimmy Howard has been very impressive to me. I didn't really expect this from him. I kind of thought Jonathan Bernier could come in and battle for that #1 spot. But from how Jonathan Bernier performed in his game against LA and how Jimmy Howard has been performing, I definitely don't see that. It's going to be interesting to see who starts tomorrow, either Jimmy Howard or Jonathan Bernier. Or is Jonathan Bernier going to get another shot this early on in the season? He's 0-1 with an .875 save percentage and a 3.10 goals against average, so obviously not good. And some of those goals were really weak. There was one that he definitely should have had, and then there was one where he just blatantly gave it to the other team for a goal, and he also knocked the net off, just looking like an absolute fool. But I am a fan of Jonathan Bernier. I still have high hopes for him and Jimmy Howard as a 1-2 punch. But for right now, Jimmy Howard has definitely been the #1 goaltender in Detroit, and he's looked very impressive, giving us a chance to win a couple of these games. So that is going to wrap up my week 1 recap of the Detroit Red Wings season. All in all, it was pretty entertaining to watch some of these games. It was exciting to see young guys like Rasmussen, Dennis Cholowski, Hronik, Libor Shulak, Christopher N, Joe Hicketts, all of those young players in the lineup. It is really nice to see. And one thing I want to touch on before I end this video, I actually do think they will end up sending Rasmussen down to the minors, just because, like I touched on earlier, Svechnikov and Furk are going to be coming back into the lineup once they are healthy. And I think Rasmussen hasn't really played himself into a position where it's going to be impossible for Jeff Blashill to take him out of the lineup, but I definitely think another year of him dominating in the minors could certainly help, and he will become a full-time NHLer next season. As far as the defense go, I think Dennis Cholowski's here to stay. Philip Hronik and Libor Shulak are kind of up in the air for me, and same goes for Joe Hicketts when all the veterans return. Who is going to stay in the lineup? But for right now, obviously I would pick Dennis Cholowski because he's looked very, very impressive. But that is going to do it. Make sure you guys do drop a like on the video if you enjoyed. Even if you aren't really interested in the Detroit Red Wings, the support certainly does help. And no matter what type of reception this video does get, I think I'm going to continue to do it just because it's something I really want to do. But you guys will still be getting your regular top 5 videos and your stars of the week and stuff like that. A bunch of things I have planned for the season going forward. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure to drop a like on it and subscribe to the channel for daily NHL content. And I will see you guys all in the next video.